right, everybody, welcome back. April 25th, 2023, and right off the bat, I just want to show you we do not have any tsunami buoys going off right now because I'm going to show you some earthquakes that have taken place recently over the last couple days, maybe a week, that definitely have the potential to set these things off, even though there's areas of the world in which I don't understand why we have no tsunami buoys. In fact, these are two that are offline in the upper northeast coast. Makes no sense, never will. Anyway, I have two maps pulled up for you today. We are going to look at volcano discovery, and we are also going to look at the USGS as far as significant earthquakes. You have a search tab over here that we can look at 30 days significant. The reason I click 30 days is because most of these happen within 14 to 15 days. So they fall just past that 7-day range if we were to check that. So we have to jump from 7 to 30, but keep in mind, most of these were in the last 2 weeks. Oh, and yes, don't worry. We are going to be talking about this insane cluster of reported seismic events in the Northeast over just the past 48 hours. I don't know that I've seen a cluster like this before. We can't confirm all of these as being earthquakes, but this is no coincidence. You do not see this happen very often. This is a lot of seismic activity, reported explosions, sonic booms, maybe meteors. But what is going on in the Northeast? This is insane. Even if I go to 7 days, you just see it thicken up. Like, that is absolutely crazy. I don't think I've ever seen it that dense with so many different seismic events. And it also, you got to notice some patterns here. We get a bunch of straight lines. We had that situation just about a week and a half ago where we had these dual sets of earthquakes going up to the Northeast and into Canada. Still have yet to get an explanation on that, but take a look at this rare earthquake that took place just 6 days ago. A 4.5 off the coast of the eastern US, very, very close. We usually do not get earthquakes out here ever, but nonetheless, there it is. We get a lot of earthquakes along this trench here because that's the meeting of two tectonic plates. That makes sense. This does not make sense at all. This is a very rare quake and a large quake for this area, and it was only 6.2 miles in depth. So something may be happening in this part of the world, an underwater volcano like they've been talking about with the West Coast, specifically off the coast of Oregon. There's this pressure release going on down there that they are claiming could lead to a major earthquake. Now, there's something we also talked about last week, and that's why I want to start with this earthquake right here. This immediate area right here was the source of the 2004 mega tsunami that took the lives of hundreds of thousands of people. This caused a tsunami that hit India, Saudi Arabia, most of the countries within Africa. Parts of it hit Australia. This thing was absolutely massive and went down as the most devastating and deadly tsunami that we know about. And that one just took place yesterday. And by yesterday, I mean this 7.1 that took place at 15.5 kilometers. The earthquake that caused that mega tsunami was a 9.1 or 9.2 that took place right about here. But nonetheless, we have not seen an earthquake of this size in this particular area in a long time. So again, if we have any history of tsunamis or any sort of major disaster in a certain area and you start seeing things happening there, you need to keep an eye on it. And if I go to 4.5s and higher over the last 7 days, we can see we had some precursor earthquakes to this large one. So this situation may not be over. We definitely have to keep a close eye right here on this fault line that goes all the way down underneath Indonesia. This was basically in the Malaysia area. And then also another quake, a 5.1, 280 kilometers south of Port Blair, India. So not only are we getting hit from the top, we're kind of getting swooped in from the bottom in this area. And that wave extended out very far. I have the graphic up right now. Now back to the significant quakes we've had over the last 2 weeks. Remember, the 7.0 that caused damage and loss of life in Papua New Guinea. That was the earliest one. That was back on April 2nd, but still very significant. We had the 6.3 also in Papua New Guinea. This was 6 days ago. We had that one near Tonga we made a video about, where we need to be watching the Tonga volcano once again, or all the volcanoes that run down this line. There's about 12 to 13 of them. And then another 7.1 that struck just 2 days ago, 43.1 kilometers in depth, just north of the North Island of New Zealand. So just take a step back and check out the entire southwestern ring of fire. You can kind of extend it into the Indian Ocean if you'd like, because we do see a lot of those deep, large earthquakes in this area. But for the most part, that ring of fire follows right along this area here. Most of our volcanoes happen and most of our large earthquakes happen. Let's not forget the 2 earthquakes that struck Russia. The immediate 6.5 that then led to a major volcano blast that they're still cleaning up from. And I believe there was another earthquake here that they actually removed. Maybe we could find it on Volcano Discovery. And then moving over to the United States, we had a large earthquake in Central America, or Boca Chica, Panama. A very large earthquake for this size. It was felt by thousands of people, 13 kilometers in depth, very shallow. Another earthquake with damage, a 4.0 hitting Oklahoma, 7 kilometers in depth. No wonder that thing caused damage. But the point I'm trying to make is we're seeing earthquakes of bigger size in areas we're not used to seeing them. We'll zoom in here a little bit because there's 2 earthquakes I want to talk about in this area. One we're only going to see here right now. A 3.6 hit Adams Center just 2 days ago. Also a very shallow quake. And we got to understand this part of the region, this area of the world, has a different type of ground than the West Coast. The West Coast gives and takes a little bit, but when earthquakes, even of 4.0 or anything around those, strike this area, it's a much bigger shake. It does a lot more. And that is why I'm very concerned about this. The last 2 days of earthquakes, you can stretch all the way down from Florida all the way up into Canada. Once again, these are seismic reports. Not all of them are earthquakes, but the fact that there's something being felt by people with these types of numbers is just crazy. You do not see this all the time. So I don't know, my friends. There's a lot of signs pointing to something pretty catastrophic could be looming in the very near future. I mean, it's been a while since we've had a pretty significant natural disaster. Of course, we had the Tonga volcano, and we have had some significant earthquakes and things like that, but nothing too world-changing, and that's something I feel like is on the horizon. I hate to play the doomsday guy, but it just has that sense to it. I don't know how you feel. Let me know down in the comments. And I'm going to start digging into this Northeast situation because I've never seen so many earthquakes in one spot or seismic event reports in one spot in a 2-day or even that 7-day period. All right, my friends, I appreciate each and every one of you. I'll be back tomorrow with another update. Shout out to Canada, and I'll see you all in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye. Stop right there, my friends. If you have not already, click that subscribe button and don't forget to hit the bell icon. Click all and you will get all notifications from this channel. And trust me, you won't be disappointed.